Isn't this beautiful? Got roses just on the sides of the campsite. Not every campsite has them here, but quite a few of them do. What's going on, y'all? It is another day in the daily vlog of the RV life. We are not in Texas anymore. We've traveled. We are now in Alabama. And I have a very important question to ask you. Ketchup or mustard? What would you do? We found this Doritos a couple days ago in Texas. I have enjoyed it. It tastes like the spicy mustard you would get at the Chinese buffet. Anytime I go to a Chinese buffet, I love to get some of that spicy mustard and egg roll and dip it in there. Almost playing like a spicy roulette. Because then I get to see whether or not the burning sensation will go through my nostrils and just how bad will it make me cry. Why do I keep doing this? I don't know, but I enjoy it. But these Doritos hot mustard actually gives me a very similar feel to that. It actually does give a burn in the nostrils, just like the hot mustard or spicy mustard. I'm not sure what you call it at the Chinese restaurant. But then today, here in Alabama, Tanya and I go to the Dollar General to pick up a few things. We're in a small town and there's not a lot of stores. And they also had tangy ketchup. I'm on a roll, I gotta try it. So we got that too. And I tried it. I was really hungry when I tried it. So I kept eating them. Then I brought them home. Kira actually tried it, even though she doesn't like spicy. A lot of times Kira will be apprehensive at first about trying something for fear that maybe it will be spicy, but she tried it. And then Kaylin tried it and she was like, that's nasty. Tanya and I both have an aversion to ketchup. We both have different experiences from when we were younger from ketchup. That most of the time we don't like ketchup. And I can honestly say, now that I'm not starving anymore, I don't want to put another one of those Doritos in my mouth. Isn't that weird? I was that hungry earlier, so I ate some. Now the question is, what's next? Mayonnaise Doritos? Pickles Doritos? Just a flat out cheeseburger Doritos? So let's do an update on the leveling system. Yeah, the leveling system. It is like a family member that is shut in at home that needs constant care. If you've ever taken care of a family member that needed help, that needed someone like a nurse at home to care for them, and you know that some days are good days and things go well and other days are not good days. Well, that's why I compare this. That's the analogy that I use, because we just traveled for 3 days, and some of the days the leveling system was just perfect and on point, and then other times it was just absolutely terrible. In fact, when we got here, I had a terrible time just trying to get it to level. And I thought I was tricking the system by unplugging the external sensor and then plugging it back in and tricking it out. And then I just noticed I wasn't unplugging the external sensor. It was last night while we were auto leveling, or attempting to level. I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute. That's not the external sensor I'm unplugging. That's the right rear leveling jack. The one that had been having problems. It was me unplugging it. I can't. Well, I mean, what other reaction can I have to my own foolishness? Just laugh at myself. That's all I can do. Thankfully, I can stay in good spirits about this. So after fighting with it for about 30 to 40 minutes last night, I actually did identify the proper connection for the external sensor and unplugged it and replugged it in, and it seemed to work after that. Will that be the end-all fix-all? Something tells me no. I highly doubt it. I think that until like all the wiring and the $700 main control board are replaced, I don't think it's ever going to work the way that it should. And then I even on top of that get a feeling like even if I did replace it all, it still wouldn't work as it should. This thing is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. Now this site we're at is actually not level, and we actually had to get out these Anderson levels. Now this, to me, this is where Anderson all started. This is our introduction to Anderson, using these things to actually raise up one side of the RV. We've been using these, well, I mean, we've been RVing since 2020, so, and we've had these things that entire time. We haven't used them since April of 2022. So it's been a year since we've used them. Well, we had to use them here. Well, we didn't have to. The levelers would have done their part, but it is a good idea. If you identify that your RV, when you pull in, before you start leveling, if you have any idea that your side to side is off, if you can do something like this to help it level before you ever even kick in these things, it's going to be a big help to these things to have this already done. And thankfully I have a level. I got a magnetic one that sticks right inside of the pass-through storage, clink, to the top, to the steel beam that goes across. So we were already set to take care of that. But yeah, it was pretty frustrating getting set up. So we've got some plans to potentially be in the Lippert part of the world in Elkhart, Indiana soon, and man, I would just love to sit down with the people that design these things and be like, let's talk about your thought process on some of this. Me personally, I would love to get rid of that touch screen that I have to keep going inside to deal with, and get one of the ones that has the words on it that people have down in their pass-through storage. I would rather have that as opposed to having to go inside to the fancy touch screen. That fancy touch screen doesn't help me at all. I'm really liking it here in northern Alabama. We were shocked at the temperature this morning. So it gets randomly very windy here, like violently windy, like throw the door shut windy. You better not be in the way. We woke up this morning and it was 43 degrees. Now you might be thinking, I don't know where you're at. You might be thinking, you know, what's wrong with 43 degrees, or what's odd about that? Well, in Texas, it's hitting like 80s, high 80s, low 70s, humid and muggy. So for us to all of a sudden be in a position where we need to fire up the furnace again, that just kind of shocked us. I turned on the furnace today. It's May 1st. Yeah, once again, this is 2 years in a row in May where Tanya has said to me, "Where have you taken me?" It's true. Last year, Memorial Day weekend, I took her into Colorado and it was still snowing. She's like, "Where have you taken me, Philippe?" That's a reference to Beauty and the Beast. I just put that in there. But, you know, I mean, we make movie references all the time. But once again, it's May. I've taken her somewhere where it's cold enough that we had to fire the furnace on again. We do temperature checks. We start going through all the places we've been. Well, how is it in Meeker, Colorado? Which originally we were planning to be back in Meeker this week, but our plans have completely flipped. But it's cold there. And then we're headed for, we want to go into the Elkhart, Indiana area where they make RVs, and I was just looking and they're going to have snow tomorrow. I didn't tell that to Tanya. And these roses is just awesome. I love this. So beautiful. Roses. You know, my grandpa Bob, who I talk about a lot, he liked roses. Well, I'm sure he still likes roses. He used to plant roses on the side of the house. Roses are beautiful. Our daughter's name is Kaylin Rose. So I'm enjoying this cool weather out here, being able to witness nature without having to be all sticky and sweaty like I was last week by the beach. That's a pretty sweet deal. That's what I love about the RV life. You don't like your current situation, change it. You can change it pretty rapidly too. Sure, it'll cost you some money to move around, but hey, right now, diesel's actually been reasonably priced. Of course, that could literally change tomorrow. You could wake up tomorrow and have diesel be $1 more per gallon. It happened last year. So life isn't always a bed of roses. Life isn't always perfect. Life won't always be perfect. You make the best of it. You do what you can. That's what I was thinking. That's what was going through my head dealing with the leveling system yesterday, as it was pretty frustrating yesterday. I just kept going back and forth. Unplug it, plug it back in, try to level again, make it actually did some stuff, and then it would fail out again. and then unplug it and plug it back in. And then dawned on me, crazy guy, you're unplugging it was the sensor. It wasn't the power, it was the sensor to that rear left level inject. The one that literally, if you've followed along in our videos, the one that was saying there's a fault. Well, there's a fault because I was unplugging it. Oh, I just have to laugh at myself. That's the only way to stay sane. So it was really windy yesterday, and I thought, you know, we're only here for about 6 nights. I thought, no real need to get up on the roof to put that up there. No need to risk some violent wind coming up and knocking it down. Nice clear shot of the sky. I started out underneath here, but then it tried to look straight up, and I'm like, well, it's not gonna get what it needs there. So, but we have so much clearance here as far as with the road and the driveway that I was able to pull the truck out far enough that the dishy can sit right there. And usually what I'll do is I'll put the stool, I try to put the stool kind of where I want the camera to see it when I back up. So then I kind of line up the camera to back up to that stool, and then I've got the space that I need. But really, we've got the space that any people driving through here need. There's plenty of room here where people aren't going to hit us. See, that's plenty of room. It's another day in the RV life. Just been chilling, hanging out. Bathhouse here is pretty decent. The laundry room, it's literally right there. We're 2 spots over. Tanya liked the spot I picked. I like the spot I picked. This park has plenty of room. Like literally, if you look behind us where we pulled in, because I was struggling to get straightened up out in the street. We have so much room back here. I could have gone all the way back to the trees if I wanted to and straightened out back here. That would have been, there's plenty of room back here. I could have pulled all the way back to the trees and then straightened out. But we had time. There wasn't anybody really kind of in the way. Plenty of room. There's a bunch of empty spots here. This park, I can't wait to share this park with you. I've been impressed. This weekend, I like to do it so like right after we leave the park, give you a full rundown of the park and drop that video that's just all the details. But this has been an excellent park. In fact, there's other people that I know of that use Thousand Trails a lot that didn't even know that there was one of these parks in this area. So I'm gonna be happy to share this with more people because I think that this is worth it. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of far away from things you see. Hey, a cardinal. I love cardinals, I love birds. But I think it's worth it. If you wanna stay at 1,000 Trails and enjoy the park itself, this is a great park. I love it. I thank y'all so much for watching our videos. Thanks for coming back to watch this guy talk about ketchup Doritos. Are they gonna have mayonnaise Doritos next? I don't know. We shall see. I'd probably buy them and try them out. The barbecue ones are pretty good. I'm not putting another ketchup one in my mouth though. Maybe someday I'll share that story with you. Thank y'all so much for watching. We want to remind you that life happens. Even ketchup Doritos. Is that a deterrent to life? I mean, you don't have to open the bag. All right. Life happens. Even unplugging the wrong cable on your leveling system. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.